Research shows that leaders experience over 400 distinct emotional moments every day, each one influencing decisions, team dynamics, and business outcomes. Despite this constant stream of emotions, most leaders lack a structured way to process and leverage them. Emotional intelligence isn't just a buzzword. Studies indicate it accounts for about 60% of job performance, and 90% of top performers score high in this area. Today, we're unpacking a practical, 6-step framework for developing emotional intelligence, adapted directly from Ramona Hacker's TEDx-verified approach. For example, Daniel Goleman's research highlights that self-awareness, like recognizing when timing pressure triggers frustration, is foundational for effective leadership. By understanding and managing these triggers, you can turn emotional challenges into strategic advantages. But to do that, it's essential to first understand how emotions are actually formed. If you're new here, please subscribe and like, because I share tips to help you improve your career. The constructed nature of emotions challenges what most leaders assume about their own reactions. Neuroscientist Lisa Feldman Barrett's research reveals that emotions are not hardwired or automatic. They are built by your brain in real time. Our brains construct emotions from past experience, drawing on memories, learned associations, and even physical cues like fatigue or hunger. For a leader, what feels like an instinctive emotional response is actually the result of your brain making predictions based on what you've encountered before. This means emotional responses are not set in stone. Leaders often believe that stress or frustration will always trigger the same behaviors, but these reactions are shaped by context and history. Consider a classic example from the Princeton Seminary Good Samaritan study. Seminarians in a hurry were far less likely to help someone in distress, not because they lacked compassion, but because their brain's interpretation of the situation was influenced by time pressure. In a corporate setting, a manager might misread a team member's frustration as personal resistance, when in fact it stems from workload or resource issues. This misinterpretation can escalate conflict and hinder productivity. Understanding that emotions are constructed gives you more control. If you notice irritation during a meeting, it might reflect past frustrations with similar situations rather than a real problem with your current team. This awareness allows you to pause and evaluate whether your emotional response is truly about the present moment or shaped by previous experiences. Leaders who practice this skill can better distinguish between useful emotional signals and background noise, leading to more accurate decisions and healthier team dynamics. Instead of suppressing emotions, the goal is to direct them with intention. When you recognize that feelings like frustration or anxiety might arise from factors outside the immediate context, you create space to respond more strategically. This perspective lays the groundwork for building emotional intelligence as a repeatable skill. With this foundation, you're ready to explore a systematic framework that helps leaders move from emotional awareness to effective action. If you're finding this helpful, please subscribe and like, because it helps us create content that matters to you. Also, if you want to take your skills further, check out our executive education and executive coaching programs at execbeat.com. Ramona Hacker's 6-step EQ development framework offers leaders a clear, practical roadmap for building emotional intelligence. The process begins with acknowledging your emotions as they arise, without judgment. This initial recognition is crucial. By simply noticing what you feel, you create a pause that allows for more deliberate action. For example, a leader sensing irritation in a tense meeting might mentally label the emotion rather than allowing it to dictate their response. The next step is differentiating and analyzing those emotions. It's easy to conflate anxiety, frustration, or disappointment, but effective leaders learn to distinguish between them. Daniel Goleman emphasizes that self-awareness is foundational. Knowing exactly what you're feeling and how it shapes your perceptions is the starting point for all other emotional intelligence skills. In practical terms, this means pausing to ask, Am I anxious about an upcoming deadline, or am I feeling distrust toward a colleague? This clarity informs your next move. Reflecting on the origin of your emotions is the third step. Instead of reacting to an immediate trigger, take a moment to consider whether your response is rooted in present circumstances or colored by past experiences. For instance, a manager frustrated by a delayed project might realize that the intensity of their reaction is amplified by residual stress from previous setbacks. Tracing emotions to their source prevents misattribution and reduces the risk of impulsive decisions. Handling emotions comes next. Goleman likens this to crossing your arms in a new way. At first, it feels unnatural, but with repetition, it becomes second nature. Leaders must practice regulating their emotional responses, whether through deep breathing, reframing the situation, or briefly stepping away, to prevent distressing emotions from disrupting performance. The framework's final steps extend beyond the self. Shepherding others' emotions means recognizing and supporting the feelings of team members, a skill closely tied to empathy. Finally, implementing emotional education ensures that emotional intelligence becomes embedded in your organization's culture, equipping teams to navigate challenges together. Developing EQ is not about suppressing what you feel, but about learning to channel emotions in ways that support your leadership goals. This approach transforms emotional intelligence from an abstract concept into a concrete, actionable advantage. Leaders who prioritize emotional intelligence see measurable results. Research-backed insights show that emotional intelligence accounts for a significant portion of job performance, and most top performers excel in this area. Rather than suppressing emotions, the goal is to use them strategically to guide actions and decisions. As a practical next step, choose one element from Hacker's 6-step framework, such as acknowledging or differentiating emotions, to apply in your next meeting. Track a specific outcome, like how it influences your response or shapes team interactions. Share in the comments which one unexamined emotional pattern you plan to explore this week. Your experience could help others take their first step toward stronger emotional intelligence. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like, because it helps us bring you more free videos. And if you're ready to grow your career, visit execbeat.com to learn about our executive education and coaching.